because this is hurting us as Christians living under Jewish control, and we are the majority in this region. And if a Christian want to migrate from within Israel, living under Arab mixed towns, guess where he migrate? He migrate to a majority cities that are Jewish majority and not Arab majority. Why is that? You guess what? Because we enjoy freedom under Jewish majority cities and not under Arab majority cities.
So Shadi Khalul, who is an Armenian in Israel, I might be butchering his name, was recently on the Donna show. And he's an Armenian Christian who lives in Israel and defends Israel. And we're going to take a listen to this interview right now. I'm the other Barak, coming to you live and direct from Israel, because we have the boots on the ground reality that mainstream media does not show you. If you're brand new to this channel, welcome, stick around, let's talk about it.
So, as you guys remember, we talked about this a couple of days ago when this interview came out. I was really shocked by this interview. I was shocked by the claims that this person was making. And I went into her history, her background. It's George Stephanopoulos' sister. I talked about the previous stunts that she pulled a couple of decades ago and the false accusations that she had made at that point. And people can go and look at the podcast, listen to that if they want to check it out. It shocked me, and we talked about all of that. And we're going to expand on this conversation. Welcome back to the program. Dana Lash with you. You can listen all around the country terrestrially. You can watch Channel 347 Direct TV. We're at X, Rumble, everywhere else. I also saw this post on X. The post read, Tucker, I am an indigenous Christian living in Israel. The woman you interviewed is not. I cannot believe how many lies just came out of her mouth. Many people have asked you to interview me, yet you've ignored me. Is truth important to you? Let's talk. And so I went and I looked this gentleman up because I thought, whoa, that's a pretty, because there are a lot of Christians that live in this area in the Middle East, and you really don't ever hear from them. And it was just stunning. I wanted to bring on our guest, Shadi Khalul, who is the president and founder of the Israeli Christian Aramaic Association, NGO of the Aramaic Galilee Center. And he lives in the Middle East, and he spends his time educating people on the truths of this area as someone who lives it, as someone who has firsthand experience. And Shadi joins us now on video. Shadi, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time today. I got to get your initial reaction when you saw this interview. What was your first response? Or what did you think when you started hearing some of the things that guest was saying?
Thank you, Dana, first of all, for inviting me and allowing me to actually expose the truth and the cause of the true Christians, indigenous people in this land. What is the true cause? How they are persecuted? I am a Christian, indigenous, the first followers of Jesus in this land. We speak Aramaic language. We still speak the language and teach the language to our children, to pray in it in the church, to keep the culture of Jesus that he in the same language was speaking. And some people, like, I don't know, this nun that I never heard of before, came in spreading lies in our name, in our behalf, and now the world start believing that this is the truth of the Christians and how they live in Israel or under Jewish majority and democracy, the only democracy in this region that allowing us to thrive in the Galilee and in Nazareth and in Haifa and in any other cities in Israel, while the 40,000 Christians that live in West Bank that sadly, as brothers and sisters, they insisted to be under Arafat. Terrorists came from Tunisia and actually controlled by Arafat and being oppressed by Arafat and PLO. And that's the main reason that they are actually migrating from Bethlehem and from Ramallah and from other Christian towns in that region because of Islamic Sharia law oppression that adopted by the Palestinian Authority. So I cannot accept those lies anymore as a Christians, because this is hurting us as a Christians living under Jewish control, and we are the majority in this region. And if a Christian want to migrate from within Israel, living under Arab mixed towns, guess where he migrate? He migrate to a majority cities that are Jewish majority and not Arab majority. Why is that? You guess what? Because we enjoy freedom under Jewish majority cities and not under Arab majority cities.
For those of you who don't know, in the old city of Jerusalem, the city itself is divided into 4 quarters. You have the Jewish, the Muslim, the Christian, and the Armenian quarter. There's an incredible amount of significance to the Armenian community in Israel. And it's so interesting to me. We'll let the video play. But in general, like Christians that scream, and I've seen these people in real life that scream death to Israel, to me, is one of the more hypocritical religious radical takes that one could probably pursue in a place where the majority of the Bible has been written in this land called Israel, and they call for the death of it. I don't care what sect of Christianity, it just is an incredibly hypocritical thing. And I feel for him, given the fact that someone had the audacity to make false claims about what life is really like for Armenian Christians inside of Israel.
There's a reason why Christians have fled Arab states. I mean, that's very true. Shadi, one of the implications from this nun, Maria Stephanopoulos, in this interview was that the Christian population in Israel is shrinking. But that's not true, is it?
The Christian population in Israel, it was 50,000 people when Israel existed or was established in 1948. Today, the Christian population count 180,000 Christians. Let me give you a different numbers in Syria and Lebanon. In Lebanon, there are 1 million Maronite Christians like me. I am a Maronite Christian. I come from Syriac, Aramaic, Phoenician background. We are the indigenous people of this land. Guess where are most of the Maronites today? Most of them live in diaspora, 8 million in diaspora, in USA, in South America, in Europe, while only 1 million live still in Lebanon. In Syria, we have 2.5 million Christians before. Guess how much we have left today? 500,000. In Iraq, we had 1.5 million Christians. Guess today is 150,000 Christians. Under Palestinian Authority, when Israel controlled the Judea and Samaria, historical Jewish lands, by the way, where all the Bible stories were taking place as Judea of Bethlehem or Bethlehem of Judea, not Bethlehem of Palestine, it is called in the Bible. In our Bible that we believe in, the Christians were majority under Israel control. Under Palestinian Authority, since Oslo Agreement, this cursed Oslo Agreement, when Bethlehem handed to Palestinian Authority instead of to Jewish Israel, the Christians migrated and become a minority of 10% from 90%. Not because of Israel, because of Palestinian Islamic oppression. And I have so many examples I can give you. So many people calling me, telling me they're actually the problems and persecution and humiliation, raping their daughters, forcing them to sell their lands, to sell their stores, and they don't do it. And once they don't do it, they threaten them to kill them, and many of them migrate to USA, to Canada, to Australia, and to other parts of Europe. That's the truth, not because of Israel. I wish Israel will go back and take control of Bethlehem, because then the Christians, you will see them speaking the truth. Now, all those Christians are paid by Qatari Islamic Brotherhood movements in order to spread lies, part of the cause of Islam against Jewish-only state in this region. Exactly the same they did for the Maronite Christian and majority of Christians Lebanon before, during the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and until they controlled and changed the system and make the system controlled by Islamic, how we call it, Sunnis before, and now Shia Iranian axis.
I think, Shadi, the point that you made just then, too, about the Qatari involvement and the financing is incredibly important, because it really does seem in the past 5 to 10 years, there has been this effort to promote a false story about Christians in Israel and Christians just in the region, and really essentially almost seeming like they're defending Hamas and acting as though Hamas and the PLO were somehow better friends of Christians than Israeli leadership. And I mean, you live there. You see this and you know that to be not true.
Dana, this is the same PLO with Arafat killing Christians, massacring Christians in the Moor massacre, right? The Moor massacre 1976 in Lebanon. Same Arafat forces, it's called Al-Sa'ika, who actually massacred Christians in churches. They butchered them, they killed them, they took children, throw them from 3-story buildings and shot them like ducks. That's the same Palestinians who ruled Bethlehem and Ramallah and actually treated the Christians as a second-class citizen and let them pay taxes or jizya. We call it they call it in Islam jizya.
Okay, I want to show you all of this. I went into ChatGPT. I asked for the stats of number of Jews and Christians in Muslim states from 1948 to 2025. This is the snapshot of what the Jewish population roughly looked like between in 1948 in the Arab nations. We had around, what did it estimate here? 800, let's call it 1 million Jews in the Arab world. In 2025 in Algeria, you have less than 200. In Egypt, less than 100. Places like Libya, places like Syria, places like Yemen, you can't be a Jew and go there. You're not allowed. 1 million people to roughly 15 to 16,000. Sorry, that's just Turkey. I meant to say roughly 5 to 10,000. I was aware it was between 5 to 10,000. This one estimates 10,000. And I asked it to populate a chart for Christians, just like they did for Jewish people. And this is Christian populations in the Middle East and North Africa. So in Egypt being at one point 10 to 15%, now to roughly 5. In Lebanon, half of Lebanon at one point was Christian, down to 38 and 40%. Iraq, you can see 3 to 4% to 1%. Syria, 15, around 1 million people to 300,000. You can just see the pattern here that I'm trying to talk about. And this is the population decrease of Jews and Christians in Muslim states after the War of 1948 when Israel declared independence. And the amount of Christians that live in Israel have increased. And if Israel is an ethnic supremacy, if Jews are an ethno-supremacy group of people and they discriminated against other people and they discriminated against Arabs and they discriminated against Christians and they discriminated against others who aren't Jewish, because these are the claims that are made against people like me, right? And even discriminated against black people. It discriminates against gay people. This is why the Queers for Palestine movement is just the biggest, I'm being very careful with my language, abomination, honestly, in the past 2 years. The stats will tell you otherwise. People like him will tell you otherwise. He lives here. And I'll just say that Christians who have taken part in the death to Israel and death to America, and there are so many of them, man. There's such an incredible amount of them. Jesus was a Jew. Death to Jews? Death to Israel, where Jesus was born? Death to the place where most of the Bible was written? I don't get that, man. That shit is weird, bro. That shit is weird. A lot of people have a lot of soul searching to do. Forget the religion, man. We got receipts for this. Anyways, love this man. Shout out to him. Ami Salchai. If you would like to help this channel grow, links in the description. And actually, here's a note from me. Here are 4 ways you can help us grow if you believe in our mission. On Buy Me a Coffee and PayPal, you can directly contribute to helping this message grow and reach more people across the world. If you want to join the inner circle, join our Patreon with different tiers, and of course, our Discord community, which is free with people from all across the world. The links to every single one are in the description. And last but not least, to the other Brock community, I love you. Ani ohev otchem. I'll see you guys next time.